You have a large batch containing quite a couple of sub-batches, which shall go active and inactive again following a certain pattern, and that over a rather long time, let's say some hours. There's a lot going on in these sub-batches, and I mean really a lot, but most of these sonic activities proceed very slowly. But some of them quite fast, on the other hand. Some goings-on depend on each other, and others don't, and some goings-on follow a regular pattern, others are completely random, some are sometimes random and sometimes not, and others are random, well, only a tiny little bit. The whole structure is really, really complex. But there shall be an underlying common and shared rhythm for everything, even if it's a rhythm over a long time. For it shall be a rhythm for the fast goings on as well as for the ones which last hours, and you want to be able to adjust this rhythm, to change it all with a single knob when you are performing live. Well, Sauron forged the One Ring to rule them all so that Tolkien could write his trilogy about Middle-earth and the hobbits and orcs and so on. But Request for Music forged the One Module to rule it all, so you can create epic patches of unforeseen complexity without losing control nor overview. And here the module, here it is. The module has got a master clock covering rates from 120 BPM down to a cycle length of 1800 seconds, which is half an hour length, and it has 8 independently adjustable gates, each delivering gates at rates from 1/16 up to 16 times the master clock's rate, which means we can have gates each 0.03 seconds, which are factually triggers then, but on the other end of the scale we can have a gate each 8 hours, and of course everything in between. There is a logic-driven part of the module which offers 4 independent gates, each of which deliver a gate according to the chosen conditions and or not and exclusive or. And there are 4 random gates, which adjustable maximum and minimum times between each gate, as well as individually adjustable numbers of repetitions of the same gate length. Well, and there's even an LFO section with 4 independent LFOs, each offering square, saw, triangle, and sine wave shapes, and which, of course, is synchronous to the whole thing, to the whole master clock, and with divisions and multiplications of these times again. The activities of all of these different sections are based on the timing of this master clock here, so that I can change the speed of all goings on without changing their relation. So let me do so. I reduce the speed, and you see all parts work slowlier now. So the non-random gates as well as the logic part here, and the LFOs and the random gates. Please notice that this main clock changes its color when I change from the BPM region to the seconds and minutes region. You see now I'm in the seconds and minutes region, and now I'm in the BPM region. It changes its colors. And there are different ways I can type in certain amounts. For example, let me say, I say only 20 without anything else, only the number, then I get BPMs. And when I get, say, 20 and S, I get seconds. And of course, then when I say, let's say 20 and M, I get minutes. There's also a gate length knob here, and which adjusts the duty cycle, meaning the time relation of highs and lows. Now we have a duty cycle of 90%, so nearly all highs. The red graph here shows the regular non-random gates. And now we have a duty cycle of only 10%, only most of the time we have a low. Well, let's do some patching now and talk about the details. Are you ready to explore the endless possibilities of generative music? Well, then let me introduce my comprehensive series on making generative music with modular synths to you. With over 1,000 satisfied buyers, my books are hailed to be the most comprehensive and most practical resources on the market. Unlock the secrets of real randomness and complex cycles, from LFO networks to stochastic sequences, from basic functional groups of simple modules to highly specialized tools. Whether you are a beginner or an expert, my books cover every aspect of making generative music. Are you ready to make generative music that really matters? Well, then visit my website now to learn more and get your copies today. The link is down in the description. The first batch here uses only the regular gates here, and only the first 4 of them, and the LFOs, the 4 LFOs here. Each gate rouses an ADSR VCA combination. Let's look at the first one. Rouses this envelope VCA combination, and the second one this one, and so on and so on. And all amplifiers get the note C, so all 4 VCOs, oscillators here, generate the note C, but on different octaves. And the timbre is modulated by the LFOs here. And the patch makes use of the fact that the LFOs and the gate rate are synchronous to with each other. Do I say with or to each other? Anyway, all gate rates and all LFO frequencies are based on the master clock, as I said. But I use different divisions of this master clock here. We see we have this half the master clock's rate, or also half the master clock's rate, but then 1/8 of the master clock, and what is this? The whole master clock rate. And with the LFOs it's similar, different divisions. Let me change the speed. So the modulation of the timbre and the occurrence of the single notes are synchronous. So let's have a look at the details of this patch. The master clock is set to about 1 minute, or exactly to 1 minute, 60 seconds. And the first gate here is adjusted to half of this time, so 30 seconds, so a gate cycle of 30 seconds. And the duty cycle is 90%. So each 30 seconds the gate closes for a very short moment only. The first gate opens the leftmost, I told you, ADSR VCA group. The timbre of the oscillator is modulated by the first LFO here, and it's fractalizing the fractalized parameter which is modulated. And the LFO runs at a master clock division of 1/6, as you see here, which makes a cycle length of 10 seconds. This means that the cycle of timbre changes fits 3 times in 1 gate cycle. The next oscillator, ADSR VCA block, is activated by gate number 2 here, which is also adjusted to 1/2 of the master. And but the LFO, which modulates the timbre, its LFO2 is adjusted to 1/4 of the master clock rate, which makes 2 timbre changing cycles per gate opening, or per open gate. The F-Gen R8 module is part of the F-module universe. It's really a whole universe in between, whose core and initial modules are replica of the legendary Formant synthesizer, this 1977-1978 do-it-yourself synth, and which has been expanded by now by the developer request for music into a whole Voltage Modular subsystem of its own. And so you might ask why I use modules which are not part of the F module universe in my examples here in this video? And the answer is simple. I want to demonstrate how universal the Gen R8 module is, how useful and how well fitting into the world of Voltage Modular. That said, let's return to patching. The next batch demonstrates the logic department of the module, here this one. There are three sequences. The two ones on the left side, these two here, shall play alternately, and the sequence on the right side, here in the lower cabinet, shall play together with the other ones, but only every second time. All in all, we hear the two left side sequences each time, and then both together, these two sequences together, with this one here, and then once again these two sequences together, but without this one on the right side. The main clock here, this one here, is adjusted to 10 BPM. The regular rate number, the regular gate here, number 1, is set to factor 1, which is also 10 BPM, then 1 cycle per 6 seconds. The regular gate number 3, this one here, is set to factor 2, double S slowly, or half as fast. Each gate cycle lasts 12 seconds. But these regular gates here are not at all used to open and close the audio paths from the sequences. You see, there are no patch cables coming from here. These regular gates deliver only the arguments for the logic department, for the logic gates here. No matter whether you are interested in making generative music or you want to professionally apply granular techniques to your productions, or you are eager to learn about new concepts for music and sound, or you are a really dedicated modular or semi-modular synth guy, or in case you are watching this video later than August 2024, you want to know everything, and I mean everything, about vintage synths and their remakes and software. No matter what of these is valid for you, you will find what you are looking for on my website. I'm looking forward to meeting you there. Cheers and peace. Let's have a look at the logic gates. Therefore, this 4-gate department here. The first gate opens and closes the audio path of sequence number 1. That's this patch cable here. And the LED of regular gate 1 is switched on, this LED, which belongs to this gate here. And this means the logic operator looks only at the level of at this gate, and the operator of choice is the NOT operator. This means this first logic gate here opens when the first regular gate is at a low and closes when it's at a high. The second logic gate here also looks only at the level of the regular gate 1. Once again, it's this first LED lit here. But the operator which I have chosen is the OR operator, which means that it outputs a high. What means it opens the audio path of the second sequence here, as you see here, when the level at the regular gate 1 is high as well. And so far we see that the logic gates 1 and 2 open and close alternatively. Logic gate 3 here, logic gate 3, opens and closes the audio path of sequence 3, this one here, you see this patch cable, and looks only at the regular gate number 3. It doesn't have to be number 3, it could have been number 2, number 4, number whatever, what else, but not gate number 1. I could have chosen any other, as I told you. This logic gate 3 here, this one, here, opens and closes according to the level at regular gate 3. Therefore, a high at regular gate means 3 means a low at the logic gate, and vice versa. It's again the not operator which is chosen. And because the cycle of regular gate 3, this one here, sorry, is double as long, I told you, is double as long as the cycles of gates 1 and 2, we get the wanted result, which I mentioned earlier, meaning we hear these two sequences alternately once, then again alternately, but then this time accompanied by sequence number 3. I want the sequences 1 and 2 to play always from their beginning, and therefore I have patched the output of logic gate 1 to the reset input jack of the sequence 2, and the output of logic gate 2 to the reset input jack of sequence 1. And you see here, please watch the LEDs, that always when the audio path of a sequence opens, the other sequence is reset to 0. And I want more, just another improvement. I want all sequences to be played always until their end, completely all 8 steps. And therefore I have changed the sequencer clock to external clock and take the clock from regular gate number 5. I could have used any other of the 3 regular gates, and I have adjusted this regular gate 5 to 1/16 of the main clock. 1/16 because the sequence the sequences have 8 steps, and one cycle is divided into, of course, 1/2 high and 1/2 low, and the sequences must be stepped to 1/2 of 1/8, which is 1/16 therefore. Let me only mention that the logic gates can take more than only one regular gate state into account, indeed up to all 8 of them. For example, not with LEDs 1, 3, 5 and 7 lit means that this logic gate delivers a high only when the odd-numbered regular gates have a low, or if we use the AND operator, it makes the logic gate deliver a high only when all gates whose LEDs are lit are at high. Okay, it would take a video of hours or so to demonstrate all combinations, but I think you've got the principle. Please don't forget that the duty cycle of all gates doesn't always have to be 50%, and please don't forget that the 8 regular gates, each of them can run at a different time factor. The combinations of high and lows at the 8 regular outputs are at any given moment are nearly endless. Let's move on to the random gates here, which works a bit different from the common random gates modules that you probably know. All 4 random gate outputs generate gates at the same time, but not synchronously. The random department of our general Gen R8 module doesn't switch between these outputs, but generates gates of randomly different length. These randomly different lengths are the reason why the 4 outputs can't work synchronously, logically, neither to each other nor to the regular or to the logic gates. Each of the random gates generates a gate of random length, and repeats giving out this same gate, meaning this same gate length, up to 8 times before a new gate length is generated and then repeated. We adjust the number of consecutive identical gates with the knobs from 1, which means no repetition. Each gate has an individual length, randomly individual length, up to 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 8 identical gate lengths. And with the white knobs here, I can set the borders. I can set the borders, the border values, the minimum and maximum values of these gate lengths. Let me show this. Let me reduce the maximum gate length. Oh, a little bit more. And so we have now 8 identical gates coming in here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then a new gate length is generated randomly. So it can happen, of course, that it's the same gate length again, but very rarely. It's random. And so now we have only 2 consecutive gate lengths, identical gate lengths, as you see here. I've patched an example using all 4 random gates as well as all 4 logic gates. Here are the random gates, here are the logic gates. There are 4 voices in this patch. Voice 1 on the left side here in the upper cabinet generates completely random pitches. Voice 2 on the right side in the upper cabinet generates notes generates pitches belonging only to the notes C and G, but in different octaves. Voices 3 and 4 here down in the lower cabinet generate random pitches which belong to notes of a, let's say, kind of blues scale here. But the 2 VCOs, this one and this one, are tuned to different octaves. The timbres of the 4 voices are different. Voice 1, this one here, generates simple sine waves. Voices 2 and 3, this one and this one, generate fractalized sine waves. And voice, voices 2 and voices 3, 4, voices 2. Once again. That. I've patched an example using all 4 random gates here and all 4 logic gates here. There are 4 voices in this patch. Voice 1 on the left side here on the upper cabinet generates completely random pitches. Voice 2 here on the right side generates pitches belonging to the notes C and G, but in different octaves. And the voices 3 and 4 down here generate notes which belong to a kind of blues scale, the same one, but the oscillators, the partial oscillators, are tuned to different octaves. The timbres of the 4 voices are different. Voice 1 generates a simple sine wave. Voices 2 and 4, these two ones here, generate timbres of fractalized sine waves, and voice 3 here uses quite a bit of feedback. Each voice sends its audio through 2 VCAs in series. As you see here, each voice 2 VCAs in series. The left ones, this one and this one and this one and this one, get their gates from ADSRs. Here from ADSRs, which get their gates from the random gate outputs of Gen R8. The right VCOs, this one, and this one, get their gates from the logic gate outputs of Gen R8. And therefore, a voice gets its audio through to the main audio out, through the echo verb and the mixer, according to the adjusted logic. Here it's the last amplifier in the row of 2 amplifiers, gets its gate from the logic gates. So it gets its audio through, the voice gets its audio through according to the adjusted logic. But the duration and number of repetitions of the random pitch sequences during such an, let's say, active phase of a voice is determined by the random gate outputs. Each of these for gate outputs, random gate outputs, is equipped with a little switch here, which you might have overseen at the beginning. With these switches, we choose between 3 different types of gates. The first is called gate out, and this means that I can choose or adjust the duty cycle of the gate with this time knob here. And once again, to explain the difference, the gate length is the time between 2 consecutive gates, from the beginning of gate 1 to the beginning of gate 2. And the duty cycle, which I set with this time knob here, is the percentage of how much of this time the gate is at a high and how much of the time it's at a low. The gate length is random with this here, with these outputs here, and the duty cycle is set by the time knob. The second type of gate is called trigger, and you see what this means here. We get simple trigger outs, and the distance between 2 consecutive triggers is random according to the settings here. And the third gate is called hold. The gate type is called hold, and you see here nicely what this means. Nearly 90%, 99.9 or something percent of the whole gate length is the duty cycle, meaning nearly the whole time the gate is at a high, and only at the end of each gate we get short negative pulses or pulses down to zero value, 0 volt. All right, is there anything left to mention about the module? Well, yes, there's the reset button next to the on-off switch, and there are 2 knobs to adjust the duty cycle of the gates. I think I mentioned it anyway, and one of them is below the main clock knob, it's for the 8 regular gates and as well as for the logic gates, and another one is only for the random gates next to the minimum maximum potentiometers. Yes, indeed, I mentioned it before. Gen R8 is a tool to bring structure into a piece, preferably into a longer piece of, for example, generative music, but not only generative music. It serves well as a kind of distribution and control center, or at least as an important part of it. In my ebooks about making generative music and patching modular synths, there are 4 ebooks so far, but there are going to be more. And in these ebooks, I talk a lot about structure and its importance and the many ways to make use of structure to make a piece more interesting. You'll find them on my website. The link is down in the description. All right, end of this video. Subscribe and turn the bell on so you won't miss anything on this channel. And don't forget to visit my website from time to time. There's always something interesting and new to discover there. And you can grab some real bargains at my website. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheers and peace.